Good morning, students, and welcome to Agriculture Education 2 for the contact lesson of 2021. This module is BES HE31, and I'm your tutor, and my name is Abraham Sholongela, and I'd like to tell you from the beginning of these modules that if you have got any questions about this module or after presenting these modules and there's anything that you do not understand, please feel free to contact me on my mobile number or personal number, which is 081-4438-360. Or you may just send me an email to septembavictory@gmail.com. So once again, I would like to say, welcome to Agricultural Education 2. I wish you all the best and also to be hardworking. I want you to be dedicated and also self-driven students in this course. This presentation covers the subject content in brief, and also, as I have said it earlier, that it will cover some general guidelines that I want everyone to keep in mind when you are preparing for 2021 examinations. So I will only discuss some of the content of your study guide. I'm not necessarily going to cover everything, but I'm going to summarize just some contents in order to help you prepare for the coming exams for 2021. By now, I understand that you have a good idea what the subject is all about, as you have already completed your assignments. Please, I would like you to take note that, again, I cannot give attention to the whole content. So, should you have any questions, please contact me for help. I have already shared my contact details from the beginning of this presentation. And also, the presentation that I'm going to give now will highlight some important aspects and units of this module. So I would like you to use your study guide to prepare for your examinations. Please go deeper and look in your study guide and prepare for your examination. I don't want people to call me after, I cannot find this answer, I cannot do what. Please do not be lazy. Open your study guide, scan through your study guides, and read and understand. And if you don't understand anything, feel free to contact me. So let us quickly look at some of the aspects that I want us to look for in these modules this morning. Let us look at the aspect of poultry production and why poultry need good housing and shelter. So chickens mostly, they need good and safe housing so that it can be easy to control the temperature, especially in the brooding area, the area where they engage themselves. So, and also the temperature fluctuations, are also detrimental to the survival of the chickens. When you're talking about the temperature fluctuations, is the changes in the temperatures. When the temperatures increasing or decreasing, it also have an impact on the survival of the chickens or poultry in general. Now, good cleaning housing help to control disease and parasite. That's why it's necessary to make sure that the poultry house is cleaned at all times. Poultry are very much sensitive to diseases and parasites. So it's very important to make sure that the poultry house is clean so that it can control to prevent diseases and parasite. Good housings also block strong winds and dust from affecting the chickens. So it must be, because sometimes winds can also carry along parasites or infectious disease that can affect your poultry or chickens. Good housing keeps chickens safe from predators like snakes, dogs, etc. Or predators, we also have these other birds that can fly around and also try to attack our chickens. Good housing keeps chickens safe from thieves. Normally, well-constructed poultry houses are easy to clean, and this is helpful in preventing disease. Constructing a simple poultry house will also require the following materials. I want you to take that in consideration, that when you are constructing a poultry house, there are also materials that are required. You may list them from poles to wire mesh or the nail or the cement bricks. So just also try to know or to understand the materials that are required for constructing a simple poultry house. Now, comparing different types of poultry breeds in terms of now adaptability and productions. So there are 3 main types of poultry breeds that are found in Namibia, but you also want to see now, to compare now, how can they be adapted, or their adaptabilities to different environments or conditions. So indigenous chickens breed, which normally have lower growth rates and mature body weight, as compared now to the exotic chicken breed, which are reared on a commercial basis but with expensive protein supplementations. So that can be now the difference. Okay, when you're talking about the exotic chickens breed, these are normally commercial, or they are normally taken care or reared on a commercial levels. Then we also have another one, which is a crossbreed, or sometimes known as the locally adapted breeds. And coming to indigenous chickens, they normally survive on scavenging resources. So they just roam around, scavenging on resources, which include maybe, for example, chicken leftover or kitchen leftovers, or worms or ants or grass seed or insects, and whatever they can find in the surrounding environment, with little or no feed supplementation. So they don't require a lot of feed supplementation. They are more adapted to the local environment, in that they can even survive that poor or harsh, poor quality feed. They can survive on less feed. They are more heat resistant. They are resistant to local diseases as well, and they can also survive with little or no proper housing. On the other hand, comparing now to other exotic breeds, they grow very fast, but they are not well adapted to higher temperature or to those harsh environments, and they need expensive nutritional supplementation and also veterinary care. When you're talking about veterinary care, is medical care. They need a lot of attention when it comes to healthy care. So the locally adapted, there are crosses between the indigenous now and the exotic breeds. So they can also survive or adapt to the harsh environment. Aspect of plant production. We have now looked at the aspect of poultry production. Now let us look at the aspect of plant production. So now the following are the most popular, let us look at the marketing channel used by vegetable producers in Namibia. But before we look at that one, I just want us to take note that as we have covered as we have looked at the aspect of poultry productions, under that aspect, I also want you to read and understand those common diseases or parasites or predators that attack poultry. And I also want you to understand how to market poultry products and how to praise learners that behave or participated well in class. So as a teacher, there are ways by which you can praise or appreciate learners that have done well in a class in a manner that other learners will not feel like offended or intimidated. So in order to avoid envy and another distractions upon the other students. So I want you to go in your study guides and read and understand how to praise learners that behave or participated well, and also understand how to market poultry products, and also read and understand those common disease, parasites, and predators that attack poultry in your study guide. So now, looking at this aspect of plant production, it's a very crucial aspect that I want us to look at. Now, let us look at the following now, which are most popular marketing channels used by vegetable producers in Namibia. So, lateral marketing to neighbors, putting up a vegetable store by the roadside near one's farm is mostly practiced here because it's one of the marketing channels that vegetable producers use in Namibia in order to market their fresh produce. Or supplying vegetable vendors, mainly in urban municipality, run stores, contract marketing with supermarkets, schools, hospitals. We see them all around, small stores all around the streets or open markets there being erected for street vendors to sell their fresh vegetables. Then you also have those cooperative marketing system. So these are the main channels that are used by vegetable producers in Namibia. When farmers want to market their vegetable, they also need to look at the following factors before they market their vegetables. So there are factors the farmers they need to look at. And one of these factors may be the distance or the infrastructure, size of orders, contracts, local markets and international markets. So you have to look at this one also. The cooperative marketings. So, for example, vegetable farmers can form a cooperative or a marketing association with other farmers, whereby they come together. So in this way, they can sell their products together and are able to better control the prices they get for their crops, and they reduce the cost of transportation and the marketing. And also, on the other hand, it can also reduce competition because all of them, they are combined together. So because there will be no need for competition, for example, when it comes to prices and all that. So cooperative marketing is one of the approach or practice that farmers can practice in order to market their vegetables. So another factors can be value-added products, or maybe organic certification, that if farmers grow organic vegetable, for example, and there is a market for it, they can get certification and benefit from this market, which is lucrative because organic food enthusiasts are willing to pay any price for them. So continuing with the aspect of plant productions, I want us also to look at how to take care of plant and vegetables. Just the general outlook now. When you are taking care of the plant and vegetable, these things I want you to go in your study guide and look at it. For example, when taking care of plant and vegetables, so one have to look at the general outlook of the garden. And then there's also another method that's being practiced, which is now staking vegetables, normally practiced on tomatoes, fruits. Staking is when you are erecting those wooden sticks now among the plants so that you can avoid the plant stems to attach on the ground, but you erect them up in order to support the plant so that it's able to grow, and also for the fruit not to be spoiled as they are hanging on the crop. So another one way of taking plants or vegetables is also have weeding. Weeding is just the removal of undesirable plants from the crops, and also mulches, and also watering and vegetable garden. Because yes, of course, plants need waters and they need to be watered every day under controlled conditions. As we can say, if you are doing watering or irrigation, it can be done either in the morning or late in the evening in order to avoid evaporations losses. Preparing a vegetable garden for winter and also controlling vegetable garden pests is also one of the method practice in order to take care of plant. Vegetable garden growing tips also very important, need to be considered. So there are also 3 sets of basic records that are kept by the owner of vegetable growing, processing, and marketing unit. And these are mostly these records are financial records, records that relate to the productions of the products, and also you have the sales records. Apart from this, hardware, who from the beginning? Oh my God. Where did I cut now?
You start from the beginning.
Hey, today, not today. Where did I cut? Follow me as I present. I was almost done. Eh? Ooh, now I forgot what I said. Hey. Please, I don't want to start over again. Okay, wait. Just for the now I have to refresh myself. Okay.
Five, four, three, two, one, on you.
Good morning, class, and welcome to Agricultural Education 2 Bes Age31 contact lesson for 2021. My name is Abraham Sholongela, and I'm your tutor for these modules. May you have any questions after this presentation or after these lessons? I would like you all feel free to contact me on my mobile, which is 081 4438 360, or you may send me an email on or to septembervictory@gmail.com. So that is my personal email, and that was my personal contact number. So if you have any question or anything that you want to have clarity on, please feel free to contact me on that number or send me that email address. So as I have said again, welcome to Agricultural Education 2 for this lesson this morning. And I wish you all to be hardworking, dedicated, and self-driven students in this course. These presentations cover the subject content in brief and some general guidelines that I want everyone to keep in mind when preparing for 2021 examination. So I will summarize just the content of the whole content that must be covered or considered in 2021. So again, I will discuss, as I said, some of the content of your study guide just to help you to prepare for the coming exams. So I said some of the content. I'm not going to cover everything because of the limited time. So, and by now, I understand that you should have a good idea what the subject is all about. Yes, you have already completed an assignment, and I believe you have learned a lot from your assignment. Please take note that I cannot give attention to the whole content. So, should you have any questions, please contact me for help. I have already shared my contact details at the beginning of these lessons. So, make your effort and feel free to contact me if there is anything that you need clarity on. The following presentation again, or the presentation that I'm about to give, will highlight some important aspects and some units in these modules. that I want you to take notes of or to understand as you are preparing for your 2021 examinations. And I urge you to study or to use your study guide for you to prepare, or when you are preparing for your 2021 examination. I have noticed it several times that most of you students, you are a little bit lazy to go through your study guides. That's why it was even difficult for you to do your assignments. You cannot even find, you don't even know where to find the proper answers, or because you are lazy to go through your study guide. Please, I urge you, go through your study guide, scan through and read to understand everything in your study guide as you are preparing for your 2021 exams. I want us to look at the very crucial part as we are starting these lessons this morning. Let us look at the aspect of poultry production and why poultry need good housing or shelter. Chickens need good and safe housing so that it is easy to control temperature, especially in the brooding area. So the brooding area is the way the chicken engage themselves. So the temperature fluctuations also are detrimental to the survival of the chickens. When I'm referring to temperature fluctuations, I'm referring to changes in temperatures, because sometimes the temperature might drop or it might increase, and such fluctuations or changes in the temperatures might also have an impact on the survival of the chicken or your poultry in general. Good clean housing, it also helps to control diseases and parasites. When the house is clean, then diseases and parasites cannot spread easily. As we all know that poultry in general are more sensitive to diseases and parasites. That's why it's very necessary to make sure that your house or your poultry house is clean at all times. Good housing, it also blocks strong winds and dust from affecting the chickens. Because sometimes if the house is rough and wind can just break in, so sometimes wind also can carry or blow in the poultry house some other diseases and infections, or even predators. Some winds can carry predators like snakes and other things that might also attack or cause harms to the poultry or chickens. So good housing keep also chickens safe from predators like snakes or dogs, and good housing can also keep chickens safe from thieves. Normally, well-constructed poultry houses are easy to clean, and this is helpful in preventing diseases. I also want you to take note that constructing a simple poultry house will also require the following materials. So these are the main materials when you're constructing that poultry house. So materials like poles, wire mesh, nails, cement, bricks, and so. These are basic materials that are required when you are constructing a poultry house. So furthermore also, or apart from this also, I want you to go in your study guide and read and understand the common diseases, parasites, and predators that attack poultry. Yes, there are diseases, there are parasites, there are predators, as we've been talking to them, spoke about them right now, predators like snakes and dogs that can attack poultry. I want you to go in your study guides and read more and understand what type of predators or snakes and the diseases and parasites that attack poultry. And then I also want you to study and also understand how to market poultry products. And also, I want you to understand in your study guide, read and understand, how do you praise learners that have behaved or participated well in the class. So for learners that done well or performed well or participated well or behaved well, there are ways by which you as the teachers, you can praise them. in such a way that as you praise them, you cannot intimidate others or distract others, or others may not feel like they are intimidated or they are undermined or they are being distracted. So I want you to look at that crucial subject or matter or topic in your study guide, that how do you do it as a teacher. Now, let us look at the comparison. We are continuing with the aspect of poultry productions. And now let us look at the comparisons of different types of poultry breeds in terms of adaptabilities and productions. Mostly, there are 3 types of poultry breeds that are found in Namibia. We have the indigenous chicken breeds. We also have the exotic chicken breeds. We also have the cross breeds, or sometimes known as the locally adapted breeds. Now, when it comes to adaptabilities, indigenous chickens survive on a scavenging resources, which include maybe those kitchen leftovers. Normally, they just roam around looking for what they can feed on. So it can be chicken leftovers, it can be worms, it can be ants, it can be grass, seeds, insects, and whatever they can find in the surroundings with little or no feed supplementation. So they don't really require a lot of feed supplements. That's why it's very cheaper to farm with indigenous chickens. So they are more adapted to the local environments, or that harsh local environments, in such a way that they can survive on poor quality feed, or they can also survive on lesser feed. They are even more heat resistant. They can also survive with little or no proper housing. These are the best chicken that one can farm with. Yes, of course, yes, they don't grow that very fast, but they can survive harsh environments, and you can rely on them, and they do not require too much expenses compared to the exotic breeds, which is growing very fast, but they are also not well adapted to the higher temperatures, and they need expensive nutritional supplementation and veterinary care. Yes, if we talk of veterinary care, that they need a lot of medical attentions. As we know that chickens or poultry are more sensitive to parasites and diseases, so they need a lot of medical attention, more especially these exotic breeds. So locally adapted crosses between the indigenous and the exotic breeds, and they can also they are also a bit adapted to harsh environment. So apart from now the aspect of looking at that aspect of poultry productions, I want us also to look at the aspect of plant productions in this module, which is now plant production. Now, the following are the most popular marketing channels used by vegetable producers in Namibia. Lateral marketing to neighbors, for example, putting a vegetable store by the roadside near one's farm. Yes, it's being done around. It's just a way of marketing your vegetables, standing near the roads. Or supplying vegetable vendors, mainly in urban municipality, or they run stores, contract marketing with supermarkets, or school, or hospitals. We always see these vendors all around our cities or towns. Maybe they can be next to the hospitals or schools or open markets or nearby shopping malls, just to market their fresh produce. So then you also have a cooperative marketing, so whereby a group of farmers normally form an association or come together and market or sell their products together without competition or without competing with one another. Now, when farmers want to market their vegetables, also they need to look at some factors. There are factors also that a farmer need to take or into consideration, need to consider before marketing their vegetables. So, and one of these factors can be distance or the infrastructure. For example, maybe in infrastructure we refer to reliable roads and communication system. These things are also important as they make access to market and the market information respectively relatively easy. And also the size of orders, contracts, local market and international markets is one of the factors that need to be considered when it's coming to exporting your fresh produce out of the country. Then cooperative marketing, value-added products, and organic certifications is also one of the factors that the farmers should look at when before or when selling their vegetables. Now, let us also look, we are continuing looking at the aspect of plant productions, and we want us to look at how to take care of plant and vegetables. So when taking care of plants and vegetables, so you need to look at the general outlook of your garden. Just in general, the outlook of your garden, how it looks, how things are organized in the gardens. It also matters. Now, also the staking of vegetables is one method of taking care of plants. Staking, normally, it involves erecting wooden sticks among the plant, more especially tomato plants, just to support the stem of the plants to be erected above instead of lying down on the grounds. And this will also help or prevent fruits not to get spoiled or attacked by the pest from the grounds. And also we have weedings. Weeding normally we refer to removal of weed or undesirable plants from your crops. And also another one is mulches. It's also one method that is being practiced to take care of plants. Watering and vegetable garden, preparing a vegetable garden for winter, controlling the vegetable garden pest. Yes, of course, the use of pesticides and all that in order to reduce or to prevent pests to attack your crops or vegetables. Vegetable garden growing tips is very important. Also, you need to consider it or to read those tips in order to know how to take care of or to look after your vegetable gardens properly. 3 sets of basic records. There are also 3 sets of basic records that are kept by the owner of vegetable growing, processing, and marketing unit. And these records, normally we have the financial records, and also we have records that relate to the productions of the products and sales records. Apart from this now, the aspect of plant production also, I want you to go further in your study guide and then read and understand ways by which people can earn money through agricultural productions and how value can be added to agricultural products through preservation and processing in your study guide. Let us look at also, or maybe in your study guides, I also want you to look at how to prepare seed beds for planting or sowing vegetables. So there are many ways when you are preparing those seed beds for planting or sowing vegetables. So there are step-by-step on how to do that. So how the soil should be, for example, maybe the soil should always be moist, and then also fertilizations of vegetable seeding can be done where also necessary. Even before transplanting, the plant should be put outside during the day. That is very crucial, that one. Before you transplant or before you transfer the plant. So those plants should be put outside during the day and back in the nursery during the night for 1 to 2 weeks so that they may become strong and remain viable in their new environment. When transplanted, this is called now hardening off. It's a process of hardening off when you are doing that. Yes, then the receiving side should be prepared also by deeply and roughly turning over the soil, digging to the depth of the spade and breaking up with fork and hard cloths. Then it is also advisable to remember the wise gardener's maxim: sow dry and also plant wet. Okay? Use a garden line to neatly line up the seedlings. It is nice to work in an environment that has some order. Where necessary, reduce the population density by thinning. It's very important, because sometimes also when the plant grow again after transplanting them, reduce the population density by thinning. Thinning is a process of removing, when the plants are densely populated, then you remove some so that you create enough space for the remaining ones so that they are able to breathe. So I say thinning this one involves removing some plants to reduce overcrowding. It's normally done to reduce overcrowding. You can remove the weak looking plants, so you don't just remove anyhow. You focus on the weak one. You know, like traditionally when we are cultivating for mahangu, so we do it a lot. So you remove the weak one, the weaker looking plant, the one that we remove, you remove, and you leave the good looking ones. So, or if they are all healthy, then the healthy one again, you can transfer them to another free area within the garden. You cannot just put this thing to waste. A wise farmer cannot waste their crops just like that. Even the healthy one, you cannot just throw it away. So let us look at the benefits in proper usage of modern tools. For example, the environment benefit from conservation tillage. So, but I want us to look at or to emphasize that as we have looked at the preparation of seedbed for planting of swing vegetables, I want you to go back to your study guide and make sure that also you touch on or you read and understand the method that can be used in Namibia to save water on a vegetable farm. Is very important. I say read and understand methods that can be used in Namibia to save water, particularly on a vegetable farm. I want you to read and understand that. So, in agriculture, we have modern tools. And these modern tools, they have benefits if they are properly used. For example, they have environmental benefits from conservation tillage. The specific benefits include now reduced soil erosion. Of course, yes, if they are well used, if they are well utilized or maintained, then this type of tools or modern tools can reduce soil erosion. It can also improve soil moisture content, healthier and more nutrients enriched soils, more beneficial soil microbes and earthworms, reduce these are the benefits now that are included in this proper usage. Also reduce the consumption of fuel for farming equipment and hence maximizing the profit equation. The returns of beneficial insects, birds and other wildlife in around field because of abundant food. Coming to record keeping, or before I come to record keeping, I want you also to go through your study guides again, because I said we cannot cover everything in this lesson for today, but I want you to go further on your own and study and understand the importance of servicing tools and machinery in agriculture. Also, read and understand how to plant and sow seed and seedlings in agriculture. how to plant and sow seed and seedlings. And again, I say, read and understand the importance of servicing tools and machinery in agriculture. Now, let us look at the aspect of financial management. Before we look at this aspect, I want us to look at budget definition. What is really a budget? How do you understand by the term budget? When you talk of budget, everywhere people talk about budget. What are we really talking about? So budget simply is just a financial plan or arrangement that is just put in a paper. And a budget has two sides, for example, the income side and also the expenditure side. And it normally have 4 components. The budget has 4 components that I want you to understand them. It should include your revenues. It should also cover your cost. And most importantly, your profits or cash flow. Without these 4 components, you cannot talk of a budget. Now, I want us to analyze the benefits also of keeping poultry. When you keeping poultry, I want you to go in your study guide and also analyze or just understand the benefits of keeping poultry. We have already spoken about poultry before, but again still, I want you to analyze that when you keep poultry, what benefit does it have? You should expect responses like, we keep chicken because chicken act as a village bank. Yes. For example, it is a ready source of income. When they need money, these are the villagers. People, when they need money, they can just sell some of their chicken to raise money to pay for fees, medication, among other cash needs also. So that's why this one is also one of the benefits. Generating income for themselves is one of the benefits of keeping poultry. Chickens provide cheap animal protein as well. And chicken are also used for rituals and religious functions. And also chickens can be handy in barter deals or any other form of social exchange. Yes, it's done a lot of time. Maybe a chicken can be, most of the time, can be exchanged with a small basket. I give you a basket, you give me the chicken. Or because it's a barter system that has been done in the past by the old or by the forefathers. So, and the chicken has been also been playing a major role in the barter system or the barter deals or any other form of social exchanges. So maybe somebody can even give you shoes, just shoes to wear, simple shoes to wear. They can be exchanged with a chicken. Chickens also minimize risk and also ensure long-term survival. Chickens are also efficient users of available biomass, grasses, shrubs, and herbs. They consume grasses and other plants that can not otherwise be consumed by humans. And also, they contribute to grass drain system. So as I said, make sure that you have all the study materials or resources required for this module. So to make sure that you have the correct study guides, make sure that is the right subject code on your study guide as you are preparing for 2021 exams. Please ensure that you also spend enough time reading the prescribed materials and also to follow the instructions carefully so as to ensure that you do not waste unnecessary time and effort. And I want you to take time to first acquaint yourself with the content of the module by reading through the material carefully and have that understanding. Make sure that you also understand the verb used very well. Mostly we use the word maybe define or clarify or discuss or describe or analyze. Make sure that you understand those verbs before you answer the questions. Always pay attention to the marks allocated to each question and answer accordingly. The marks allocated to the question is very crucial and very important, and you must answer accordingly. Because sometimes you might find that the question is worth 15 marks and they only put maybe 2 or 3 lines. Please look at the marks allocated and answer according to the marks. And if the mark allocated to the question is 3 marks or 2 marks or 1 marks, you don't need to give histories. Just answer according to the marks and be specific and straightforward to the answers. Never leave any question unanswered or blank. I always say, answer according to how you understand the questions. You do not necessarily need to memorize or to copy and paste from your study guides. General knowledge is very important. So don't leave just a question blank like that. The answer that you might be thinking might be the correct one. If you leave the questions blank, then that will make us difficult even to make you pass the subject, because we have nowhere else to find an extra mark for you. So make sure that you try your level best and put at least something on the questions. Revise your assignments and ask me, your tutor, if you have any other problems with this as you go through your study guides or as you are preparing your examination for 2021. Please, I've already shared my contact information with you from the beginning of these modules. Feel free to contact me for any other question or clarifications. Here we have come to the end of our lessons this morning for 2021, and I would like to wish you all the best and work hard. And finally, please, we know we are all facing this pandemic of infections or viral disease. Please take care and observe all the measures that are being put in place. All the best.